Hey everyone, based on my recent news and announcements, this will come out probably incorrectly. You guys are probably going to misinterpret what this video is about, but I'm going to talk about what it means to be a full-time Melee player and how I feel that I don't really think that everybody in the top 15, 20 are really cut out for full-time Melee. And what I mean is, I think for a large part of our Melee's history, a lot of people played it for fun, and you can juggle it with school. You can go to work and be a pretty good Melee player and even be at the top, which is what probably most people did. Hungrybox was a prime example of this before he ultimately decided to go full quote-unquote esports. But I do think that a lot of the top 50 to 100 people like Melee as a hobby, as in they'll like to go to a few events in the year, they like to travel, they like to compete, and they like to improve. And it's kind of like the artist's dilemma that I'm trying to bring up here, that when you're doing something as a side gig or a hobby, and it's like you can have a balance around it where you're not solely dependent on results to win, then it's not that bad of a job. But I think a lot of people who are, rising the ranks and they want to pursue what Smash is as a competitor full time kind of realize after jumping ship how difficult it is and how stressful it is. And you know what? I think they've eventually realized they're not made out to be a full-time competitor or full-time esports player. I think a lot of us romanticize what it means to be a gamer and what it means to go full-time. It's like, oh, cool, you get to, play video games as a living. Isn't that awesome? And for some people, it's a great opportunity. It's income for people who may not have like a college degree or a high income potential had they not gone into Melee. So for those people, it's a great opportunity. But there are other people, who have, decent jobs and careers, and they kind of go like, okay, like what can I do? Do I go the full-time Melee route? It seems like it's pretty cool and fun. Or do I keep both in rhythm, but it's not fulfilling because you're ultimately capped on the amount of resources, time, and energy that you can put without it affecting the other aspects of your life. So it's pretty interesting. And when I look at other esports and I talk to League players, I talk to Counter-Strike players, like their life centers around League of Legends, and you hear about their practice regime where they're literally spending like 12 to 14 hours a day during the season, during LCS. And 10 months out of the year, they're really grinding and practicing hardcore. I can't really see too many Melee players maintaining that lifestyle, and maybe it's not the effective training regime for Melee players. So maybe the comparison doesn't quite apply. But pretty much, if you're going to go full time, there's a lot more pressure on you to perform because this is your job, this is your well-being. You're going to have to stream. And Melee can be fun if it's something you play for a few hours here and there with your friends, and you're not pressured to win events. You're not really pursuing sponsor requirements or meeting some expectations with teams. But when you have to play 9 hours a day, all of a sudden like Melee doesn't seem as enticing or nice to do. So, when we look at players that, have done pretty well for themselves over the years, they're like top 10 to top 15, but then you kind of wonder, well, they're sponsored, they're on a team now, like why aren't they putting in more effort? It doesn't seem like these top Melee players practice well. I think it's mainly because I don't think they're really cut out to be full-time Melee players, and I don't think it's a lifestyle they truly enjoy. So overall, it's going to be interesting to see as we see more players trying to pursue the Melee lifestyle to become like the next Mango or Hungrybox or Armada, to see if they can really have a sustained lifestyle. I think it's a lot more difficult than people let on, and I don't really think it's quite as glamorous as people make it out to be. However, I do think that those rare people who can like love Melee enough, have the work ethic, or have the discipline to like constantly improve, constantly get better, they'll probably find in the long term, even like the not too far away term, that they can improve, and with resources they can continue to move up the ranks. But there are a lot of people who plateaued, and it's because I think like fine. So all in all, my TLDR is I don't think everyone's cut out to be a full-time Melee player. I think that we're going to start to see a lot in the future of players who are sponsored, who are on teams, who've tried it, kind of realize it's not for them and they're going to stagnate, or maybe they go down in rank over the years, and maybe we'll see some other people who are super hardcore about it that really like it and continue to improve. But overall, if it's not, I don't think it's for everybody. I think it's a really difficult lifestyle to be an esports player, and I think as young adults we kind of glamorize it. It's really stressful to stream and have your life depend on a game where results are not necessarily the most consistent, especially if you're not in the top 6.